Well, so Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg were physicists at the beginning of the 20th century, working on the new field of quantum mechanics.
It's very easy to think of Bohr as the good guy and Heisenberg as the bad guy. I think things are a little more complicated than that.
So the work, of course, is extremely important, both from a purely scientific point of view, because quantum theory underlies a lot of modern physics, but also from a point of view of technology. Almost every equipment that we have here is based in some sense on a transistor, for example, and that is a result of quantum mechanics.
Before, it was all pure physics. It was a wonderful game, so to speak. It was the best game in the world for these people. And then the real life intruded in a kind of very brutal way into their world.
The nuclear weapons program, of course, is based on quantum ideas. I mean, fission is a quantum phenomenon, and that's how nuclear weapons work. So in some sense, any development, however theoretical in quantum mechanics, could have a impact when trying to develop weapons which are based on what is essentially a quantum phenomenon.
And until they discovered nuclear fission in 1939, much later, 15 years afterward, that initial phrase, they didn't really understand, or could possibly understand, that this would lead to an atomic bomb. But from 1939, it was obvious. Of course, no one knew until 1945 that Americans and British were making one. It's a separate issue. But suddenly in 1939, it became possible. Was kind of clear. So what the audience perhaps should realize was that suddenly everybody realized it's possible. Developments
in quantum mechanics have resulted in things which are morally good and morally wrong. They resulted in atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which I think are morally wrong. However, anybody who goes to have a PET scan or a CAT scan in a hospital is also using the same technology, which has the same basis, and that you cannot say it's morally wrong. So, of course, that doesn't mean that scientists are somehow absolved from any sort of responsibility. It is a personal decision what topics you work on and whether you think that these topics may be used either not necessarily by you, but by somebody else for something which you don't agree with morally.
I mean, it really is, I think it was the fault of, not of physics, but of Hitler. It's as simple as that. I don't think there was a great sin committed by the physicists. The sin was committed by Hitler and his followers.